Hey guys, Chris from the Ultimate Recycler. Welcome back to part 4 of this shed clean. This will be the final part. So I've got the ute here. Let's get some stuff out of that little room. The little room is now complete. Just leaving that window there, but it's all swept down. Everything's removed and it's left nice and tidy. So job's complete. It's probably very echoey in here now. Let's have a look what we dragged out. There were some bags of plaster stuff, obviously for previous house renovations. I might be able to give that away. I don't think there's much value. There's a fiberglass basin as well. That might be a freebie. I might put 5 on it. We have a box of records and they say heavy. I don't think they mean heavy metal. They're heavy as in records are heavy. There's a lot of early 78s here. Really, most of these have little or no value. I sometimes have a box of $1 each or maybe $2 each if they're in good condition. Occasionally you can find a rare one, and I know some of the early Elvis was on 78, so you do need to have a look through, but most of them are going to be old waltzes and really early type stuff. What's that one? The Stone Outside Dan Murphy's Door. What a title for a song, by the Four Provinces Orchestra. So not much value in those. There's even one here that's had a couple of bites out of it. They're quite brittle, these old shellac records. Down the bottom we have, oh look, Saturday Night Fever. So there might be some value in the bottom ones. What do we got? No, piano accordion's not very interesting. Oh, a Christmassy record, that's very apt at the moment. And yeah, okay, not much value there. We might snag 1 or 2 worth selling, but most of them are going to be $1 a pick or freebies or something. Their little desk here, it looks like a homemade desk from the 70s. It's chipboard again. I'm going to give that one away on Facebook as well, or leave it outside the front of the shop. There was a little old barbecue here. Scrap metal value, if nothing else. We might be able to try maybe $10 on it. It's got a good cast aluminium top on it. The gas cylinder is going to be well out of date. It's a bit rusty on the frame. I might whack it out for $10 and some camper might jump at it. But if nothing else, it will be recycled for scrap metal. This, I'm not sure if this is homemade, but it's actually obviously a high chair, but the chair comes off and makes a little chair and table. So that will sell quite well. I'll give that a wash up. We might go $20 or $30 on that. It looks pretty good. A couple of really old vintage stools. They're probably more pot plant stands, maybe 10 the pair. That frame is one of those clamp under the kitchen table type kids frames, but it hasn't got the seat part, so that'll only be scrap metal. Very cool retro coffee table here. The legs are a bit wonky, so I might have to glue them, but I reckon that would make 20. It's a nice oak, probably a 60s or 70s coffee table. There was a bit of beer making equipment there, so not much in there, so I don't think there's much value. A couple of really nice old crutches. These are early ones with a leather strap across the top of them. Maybe only 10 the pair. They're not worth a great deal. Plastic chair will be a giveaway. There's a little mini blind here. I think this is new, so we might get 10 for that. And this is the best piece in there. A nice chest or glory box, I guess you'd call it. Looks probably 1940s. Someone's probably redone the top at some stage. It's got a separate little drawer, like a shelf thing in it. It's in good condition. I reckon that's easily a $50 piece. We might even be able to price it up a little bit more. I might give it a bit of an oil to freshen it up, but that's a nice piece. 1960s telephone table here. These are very hard to sell. I might put it out the front for 10. Maybe I might even just do 5. Not much value in that. There was some mats in there. I quite often put these mats out the front. If they're good near new ones, I'll get $5 each. Sometimes I just put $1 each. We have a lot of caravanners come through here, and they always buy them as like a doormat for their caravan. So we'll be able to get rid of those. They certainly won't go to landfill. So all that stuff will fit in the ute fine. I'll load it up now. We have totally finished the shed, all swept out. So I'm pretty happy with that, and it's starting to get warm, so let's get out of here. Now we need to do a follow-up check on the padding from that mattress so that we know if we can dispose of it in the garden or not. And there she is, and it's got worm castings all over the top of it. Let's have a little bit of a scratch around. There's worms there. What do we got? We've still got a little bit of the padding here. But by geez, there's not much. And there's lots of little tiny worms. Look at that one. How cute. Can we zoom in there? Look at that little fella. So there, I reckon there's less than half of what we put in here. There's only 2 little pieces. So they're clearly eating it. It's definitely cotton. That means it's awesome. I can use that entire doona as a, well, doona mattress, whatever it is. I'm going to be using it as a doona over that compost bin over there, right next to my other worm test spot. And it will gradually decay, break down, and become lovely soil. So that's excellent. Fantastic. It doesn't have to go to landfill. Okay guys, it's time to wind this video up, and indeed this series on the shed clean. I've got a few figures here. We've got a couple of things to tidy up. You just saw that the padding from that old mattress thing, the worms will consume nicely. There was a few other bits of fabric and whatnot that'll go in my worm farms. It is amazing how much you can get rid of that way. We still have to test the beer. I have one here. It turns out that this actually wasn't a light ice ale. It was actually home brew. So that probably explains why it's rather murky and the glass is a bit sludgy at the bottom. We'll still do a worm test on it, and once we've tipped it all out in the spot, we can get rid of the glass bottles in the recycle bin. A couple of other things that people mentioned from the first few videos. This Clarion cassette deck, mid-70s, I think we agreed on. I don't think it's of a lot of value. I've done some checking. It could well be worthwhile down the track as a collectible. At the moment, they're not selling for very much on eBay, and I don't know if it works. But I'll take that home, put it in my shed, and we might do a restoration on it one time down the track. So I'm not allowing any value for that one. The other thing here, someone helped me out. I forget who it was, so apologies there. But this cast iron piece, we identified the W as Waldown or Walden. Apparently there was a guy by the name of Walter Down that started an engineering and sort of a mechanical, well, I'm not sure what you would have called him, but it was down in the Western District of Victoria, and it ended up retailing all sorts of things like pedestal drills and bench angle grinders. And I suspect this is off a cover plate off a bench angle grinder. So interesting to know what the W is, and it's Australian made. I don't think it's of a lot of value. I think I just wrote down $5 for it. But anyway, we solved that problem. Thank you for your input. What else do we have to tidy up? Those car parts pictured here. Nothing particularly valuable there. I think I just put $20 each. They're certainly better than scrap metal. Did give them a bit of a clean up in there in the shop. The fridge that a few people mentioned I should do a restoration on it, and I would actually love to, but I'm running out of room in my workshop for future projects for even things like this cassette player. So the fridge, as you see it there, was in running order. I put it on Facebook Marketplace for $50, and a couple of people jumped on it straight away. One person came and picked it up the very next morning, and they were going to do it up. So at least it's been saved from the waste stream, and it'll be someone's pride and joy down the track. Okay, I think it's time to get into the top 10. We'll run through those, and after that, we'll just look at some figures, and we'll see if we're actually going to have some extra cash for Lynn. Okay, we'll run through these pretty quickly. The first, or the number 10 on the list, is these old World War II era wire cutters, and I've put them in the shop for $70. Number 9, this beautiful draw knife that we looked at earlier. It's in great nick, cleaned up really well. We went $75 on that one. Number 8, I've already shown you this, and it cleaned up very well. The vintage London map, I think it's 1950s, and we did sell that for $75 pretty quickly. Number 7, this giant fishing reel. It's an LV Australian made one that's in the shop for $80, and I think that will sell pretty quickly. Number 6, I did some checking on this Evinrude outboard motor controller, and quite a lot of them sold overseas for well over 100, so I think we'll get 85 there. Number 5, I don't think I even showed you this. This was in the little room. It's a oilskin dry as a bone riding jacket. They're very popular, should get 90 easily. Number 4 was all the fishing rods. I grouped them together. I've actually sold them individually, but they added up to 95. I think there's only 2 left. Number 3, the cricket bat was a big surprise, and I threw it on eBay because I did a quick search and they seemed to sell. And here's the result. I started at 50, sold for 112. Very surprised at that one. Number 2 was this really cool retro Ericsson phone. It's in the shop for 110, and I don't think it'll sit there very long. And number 1, as we knew, almost $500 worth of coins, basically really just junk silver, but we'll get about 70 or so for the pennies, and there was a few other odds and ends. I have already sold a few pennies through the shop just at $1 each, so that was an awesome find. Time now to just look at the figures. We ended up with about 5 pages of saleable things. Some of them have already sold. I've just got a rough guide of what price I priced them out at, so I know what the deal is going to tally up to. And as things sell, I'll mark them off. So there was a lot of stock. There was clearly also a bit of rubbish, but we kept that to a minimum. We've recycled a lot of other stuff. I did give things away on Facebook, as you saw. So what's that boil down to? Well, who could have possibly believed that there was $2,700 worth of stuff in that shed? That's what my list added up to. That includes about $500 for the coins, which I won't be selling, or at least I won't be selling the silver. But all the rest of the stock, and you saw from the top 10, there was a few good surprises in there. The rest of it added up to about $2,200, so $2,700 all up. It was a fair bit of labour, and it does take a lot of extra time to keep stuff out of landfill and process things, and I've still got a bit to do. I've still got the mattress on my trailer down the back. But I like to, well, I've saved costs on going to the tip, and certainly if most families are doing this, it costs a lot to get a skip in, plus the time to throw it all out. So there's a bit of work in some respects, but I've saved costs in others. What it does boil down to is that when I take all my labour into account, and I want to make sure I pay myself, I mean, properly, I work on about $50 an hour. I'm in business, I have to pay the bills at the end of the month, or the end of the week. But what it boils down to, and I won't go into the formula now, I have done it in previous videos, but I'll probably save that for my future second-hand dealing Patreon course, which will happen down the track. No further ado, it gets down to the fact that Lynn will get an extra $300. Well, when I say extra, she was expecting to pay. So she will get $300 cash. The job's done. They haven't had to lift a finger. And an extra $20 from that nice guy that gave me 20 when he picked up the table and chairs. So $320. Lynn, if you're watching this, call in the shop and grab your money. And I'll put it in an envelope for you. I think that was a really successful deal. I've made pretty good money out of it. I've got a little bit of stuff to put away for my super. I kept it all out of landfill, or most of it. My bins were full each week, just my little my wheelie bin that goes out for curbside pickup. But I did keep most of it out of the rubbish. I gave some stuff away, which helped some other people out. So it's a win-win-win, I reckon. And I got a video out of it, and you guys got to see it. So how good's that? Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this episode and this series. I'll be doing lots more of these throughout the year. I have an almost unending supply of cleanup jobs and house lots with my business, and even though it takes a little bit longer to film them, I think it's worthwhile, and hopefully it shows you guys that not everything has to go out to the tip. So, okay, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.